from the New South Wales Central Coast is singer-songwriter Jessie-May Kay. Now, after an EP release and a few singles along the way, they've now dropped their debut album in the form of Rising Sun. Jessie-May joins us now here on Aussie Music Weekly. Hey, Jessie-May, how are you?
Hey, thank you for having me back.
That's all right. I was just going to say, yeah, we last spoke back in 2020 around the time of the release of your EP Zone Out. So what have you been up to musically since that time?
Other than releasing my album, I've been writing more. I have a kind of a list of what I kind of want to put in a direction next, and also working on my music videos. I still haven't finished my Zone Out series because I've got 2 more videos to do. I wanted that EP to be like episodes. It's not really finished till I finish that, but I'm so close. The one that I'm doing in particular right now is Nightmares. So that one's been hard, especially emotionally, because it's based on a lot of my trauma.
You've always been an artist that sort of covered every facet of your career. You just talked about there in terms of the video side of things beyond the music part as well. So how important is it for you to take hold of pretty much all of those various aspects of promoting yourself?
I think it's really important. I think I've always referred to myself as an artist. I've never considered myself, just a musician or just a director or one thing, because I think what's really cool is that I am multifaceted in that way, and I'm a jack of all trades but I'm a master of none. But at the same time, that's helped me, I think, because the end to that classic quote is better than a master of one, and I think that's always helped me in the public eye push myself a lot further, because I think if I only had just songwriting or just like video skills, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now or have myself elevated to that point, because I think all the ingredients of what I can do come together. I think that has really helped me in my career. Yeah,
and it was musical theatre, right, where you sort of first got into the performance side of things from quite a young age. So what parallels do you see between, I guess, that side of creative arts compared to what you're doing now?
I think it really helped me, especially for acting, I think, and storytelling within my art. I always loved musical theatre, and I think it was a great stepping stone in my life, because that was a place I used to do it at Coast Academy of Dance. They're closed down now, but they were such a big part of my childhood and my teen years, because that's where I felt safe and that's where I felt like I could express myself. And it was that kind of part of my journey that really shaped my love for acting and expression. And if I hadn't done that, and if I hadn't met the people that I met then, and especially the teachers I had, they would really looked out for me because they knew what my home situation was like. Yeah, I think it's massively contributed to who I am. And I really want to get back into musical theatre. I think I miss doing acting more now that I've gone down this musical path. I've missed doing a lot of the acting, because that's where I was strongest back in the day. I was going to leave school and pursue acting, but it just happened that my music took off through open mics, and so that's the path I went down, because that's what got me success. But I do want to go back into acting soon and explore that again.
Well, the release of an album in an artist's career is always a bit of a defining moment. So how daunting a process for you was it, I guess, to put together a slightly larger body of work this time around for release?
Yeah, it definitely took longer. It was such an intricate thing that I had to make sure. I'm a really big perfectionist, and I know that sometimes it could be hard for other people if they have to work with me, because I'm sitting there and it's like, oh, this bit isn't exactly as perfect as I need it, and I'll change it, or I'll need it them to change something to make it as perfect as it can be, even though there's no such thing as perfection. I have that high work ethic, and it took a little bit, and there was even a part where I finished it, and I was so used to being in that mindset of, okay, what's next? What do I have to do? That I sat there in the studio okay, what do I have to do next? And then I was like, oh, it's done. I've done everything. I don't need to do anything anymore. So that was really cool.
Fire in my soul, never do what I'm told. Watch me run. Watch me run. It's my life to love. We can do what we want. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
about some of the tracks on the album. Firstly, Quirky, and I guess it's got that stream of consciousness type of lyrics right in the middle of the track. So what was behind your decision to do that?
I think, like I was back before when we mentioned musical theatre, I wanted to have something that was like spoken word because I felt like that was the best way to get across how I was thinking and what I was feeling and just what it's like inside my mind. So I had that chunk taken out of the song where I could express myself in that bridge part through that kind of spoken energy. And it also kind of reminded me of back when I did my first single. I did Coffee Shop, and that had the spoken word in comparison to the singing and the difference between that. And
You know it never hurt to be quirky. I don't do relations. I can't see the point in any limitations. My brain's destination is driven by the lyrics and the syncopation. And you all say the same thing. Demand I explain. Do as I'm told. It's getting quite tiring. When you say I'm sorry, I just got to know.
Pop is certainly your genre of choice, and for mine, the track Nothing at All is probably one of the strongest pop tracks on the album. Tell us a little bit about that one.
That one was, I was writing about a time where I had felt like I was sort of like abandoned. Like sometimes you can like push to have people in your life, but then sometimes it's not meant to be. And it's hard because you sometimes forget, like as you grow, the lessons that you've already learnt, but you kind of have to revise them because you can get so comfortable and so used to having people around that you get, used to like mistreatment. And it's always better to be alone than have the wrong people in your life. But at that time, I wasn't aware of how I needed to let that person go. So in that moment, I was kind of just expressing all the feelings of like, I thought this was going to be forever. Like I thought, and it is hard to go through stuff like that, but it's always worth it in the end. Once you're over that kind of rut and you've come out the other side, you're usually always better off.
What were those things you said to me when I had lost control? Did you care? Did you lie, honey? How'd it go so wrong in the space you used to be? A promise is wrong code. Did you care? Did you lie, honey? Did it mean nothing at all?
Oh, well, thanks so much for chatting with us here. We're going to play the current single, Do What We Want now. What's the central theme that you're discussing in this particular tune?
Oh, Do What We Want is all about like freedom and independent thought and mind. I've always been someone who's followed the beat of my own drum, and I've always been someone who values like uniqueness and individuality. So I wanted to make something, especially for young people. I think a lot of the pop tunes we have out today, they're all about our experiences in freedom, but that's more geared towards like partying or like having fun. And having fun is great, but I think it's so important to know that happiness will always come from within you. And when I think about young people and what I want them to be like listening to is that it's always good to listen to your intuition and the things that you've learned, because it's so easy to get lost in the world when there's so much information being thrown at you in the media, from your peers, from your friends, from you get pulled in every which direction. And I think it's really important to keep that special something that's inside you and always listen, reground, and come back to yourself. And there's so much strength in that and wisdom, and I think it would be really helpful, especially for those growing up. I know without my favorite artists and especially strong female people like Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift, like without that, I wouldn't have been who I was today. So I really hope that I can pass that message on to the next generation.
Yeah, some great advice there indeed. All right, Jessie-May, thanks so much for chatting with us. Again, congratulations on your debut album, and let's play the track now.
That's okay, thank you.
Fire